Do you ever feel like you don't have enough youth volunteers? Or when you do have the volunteers, they drop out on you or they're flaky? In this video, I'm going to give you the top 6 ways to keep volunteers motivated and consistent in your youth ministry. Hey guys, my name is Brian, and here at Youth Pastor Network, we're not only helping local youth pastors thrive in their ministry, but we're also creating a network for youth pastors to gather together. Here at Youth Pastor Network, we share tips and tricks that we have learned on our own as well as from other local youth pastors. So if this is something you're interested in, consider subscribing. All right. The 6 ways that you can keep youth volunteers or recruit youth volunteers. Number 1, you need to recruit young adults. Man, I don't know about you, but for me, young adults, they have the most energy, they have the most passion, and they're kind of in this awkward phase. They're in this awkward state. They're not married yet, they don't have kids yet, and because of that, they're kind of looking for something. They're too old for youth, but they're too young to be in the adult service. And so why not get them involved in your youth ministry to serve and volunteer? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, and this brings me to number 2, that you need to recruit or not be afraid of the moms in your youth ministry. Now, when I'm saying moms, I'm not literally meaning just the mothers. I am talking about parents. A lot of times parents want to be involved in their students' ministry. They want to be involved in their students' lives. And I'll tell you what, there's times that we can be as youth pastors worried about that. We feel like there'd be too many old people in our services, that the boomers are gonna scare off all the kids. But can I tell you that most of the times the moms, they have wisdom, man. The parents, they have wisdom. They're there not only because they love their students, but because they love students in general. And they can be used as such an amazing asset. There's maturity there. There's just wisdom and understanding of how life works. And I can tell you right now, some of my greatest volunteers of all time have been parents of youth students. Number 3, you need to give your volunteers a clear role and job. See, there's nothing worse than showing up to a ministry and feeling like you're just taking up space. For me, I struggle in this area. I feel like I need to do everything in order for it to be done well. And I've been doing my very best to make sure that my youth volunteers and my leaders know what specifically their job is, what they're supposed to do. When they show up for us, our services are on Wednesday night. When they show up on Wednesday night, they know exactly what their job is. They know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. And you know what this does? It gives them a sense of ownership. Andy Stanley talks about how we should try to create a culture of ownership. In other words, if there was a piece of trash on the ground in the parking lot of Walmart, for instance, you and I would just walk by it and be like, man, somebody's crazy dumping their trash. But when it's our parking lot, our church, when it's our parking lot, we're going to stop and pick it up because it's ours. We're taking ownership of it. And when you give your volunteers and leaders something to do, a clear role, a job, this is what you do. Not only do they have a sense of value, not only do they have a sense of purpose, they begin to take ownership of the ministry. And then over time, what begins to happen is they're no longer flaky. They're no longer dropping out. Why? Because they have ownership of this ministry. Hey, if you felt like this video has been helpful so far, man, hit that like button. It really helps us get the word out to more youth pastors in your area. All right, number 4, you need to make them feel special. Now, what do I mean by that? There's many ways to do this to where you start making your volunteers feel as though they're unique. Listen, everyone wants to be needed and known. Everyone in life, they want to be needed and known. And so what do? When your youth leaders show up, man, maybe every single week, pick one volunteer to call out publicly in front of the whole group and say, man, you are doing such a great job. We love and appreciate you. And give them a gift card to Starbucks or some food restaurant or something. And just make them feel special. Make them feel like they're valued, that you're glad that they're there. Listen, you shouldn't make them feel like they're just in the way or that they're just annoying. Man, you always want to make sure that your youth leaders feel like they are known, like that you know that they're there, that you know what they're doing. It could be the smallest details. It could be the smallest job. You can give a youth leader a specific job like, hey, I want you to give high fives to students as they come in the door today. And then call them out and say, man, that was such a good job. Joey, you did such a great job tonight making students feel welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of your youth ministry. For me, it's called Canvas. Thank you so much for being involved in Canvas. You're doing such an amazing job. I tell you what, it's hard for youth leaders to leave or to be flaky when they're feeling valued, when they're feeling special, when they're feeling unique, and when they're being felt like they're needed and that they're known. All right, number 5, provide child care. Oh, come on. The parents in the room said, amen. There is nothing better than to drop off your kids at church for a few hours and to have freedom. Come on, let's be real. To have freedom for a couple of hours, even if you're now taking over another responsibility, doing more jobs, there's something about whenever you just provide childcare for them, it takes a level of stress off of that parent. So now they can drop their kid off and then they can focus on your youth ministry. I know of a lot of young parents that don't get involved in ministries and they don't get involved in serving because there's nowhere for them to put their kids. Maybe your church provides some type of Wednesday night service for the kids, or maybe there's some type of classes for the kids. But for me specifically, we don't have that right now. And so we provide childcare for the kids that are not old enough to be in the ministry. Now, there can be logistics that come with that. How are you going to pay for it? And those types of things. But that's something you can figure out with your staff, with your pastors. Or, hey, I've even done this where with the whole parenting team, everyone who has a kid, if you drop them off, you rotate. You can schedule them now to be the babysitter that week and they rotate in there. Or you can just have them all collect $5. Hey, give me $5 tonight. And you get $5 from all the parents. You give the babysitter the $30-$40 that you collected. And now they've all gotten childcare for that night. Trust me, it'll help you grow your volunteer base. And lastly, number 6, have a clear timeline of how long they're going to be serving in your ministry. Listen, all of us want a light at the end of the tunnel. We all want to know, man, let's say we decided to start serving in this youth ministry and then all of a sudden we got bombarded with a bunch of work, a bunch of extra things at our jobs, whatever it might be. If you give your leaders a clear end goal of when they're going to be done, they'll tend to stick around a little longer. For me personally, we do a 6-month commitment. I ask our leaders to serve for 6 months. I ask them to give it their all. Try not to miss a week. Be there every single week. Show up. And it's going to be worth your time. You're going to enjoy it. It's going to be a good time. And the reason I say 6 months is because at the end of the 6 months, if they want to or if they need to step down for whatever reason, that's understand. Hey, no hard feelings. Thank you for serving. You're amazing. But then I also give them the opportunity to re-up and to re-serve. And I say, hey, another 6 months. Another 6 months of serving and getting involved here at our ministry. So these were the 6 ways I think that you can help create an atmosphere for your volunteers to stick around, to be energetic, to be engaged, and to be motivated, but most importantly, to not be flaky and to not drop out on you. Listen, guys, I don't think that I have all the answers when it comes to youth ministry. I am just trying to be a resource for you to better your ministry and do the very best that God has called you to be. Hey, if there's been something that's worked for you and volunteers, man, put it down in the comments below. Let's hear about it. I want to hear what you do to recruit volunteers, and not only that, to keep them in your ministry. Man, I love you guys. We'll catch you in the next one.